The folks at Video Game Storytime are at it again, and I'm here to dissect their blatant Sakurai obsession just one more time. Who thinks we are going to get any useful information from this video? Feels like we're going to be here a while. So, let's begin.
Everything is delayed. In an effort to slow the spread of COVID-19, game studios around the world are shutting their doors and accepting that, at times, getting work done is going to take longer than the original projected timescale.
And where, dare I ask? Because no game studio I am aware of has shut their doors because of this commie cough. Either they continue business as usual or they continue to work on their projects from home. It's not hard nowadays to network. We no longer have to gather hundreds of people in a building to work on game design, writing, programming, artwork, etc. I still work from home, and with more companies needing content writers, I'm busier than ever before. The same can be said about game development. So long as your job involves a computer, you don't have to stop working. You made this video after all.
Such is the case with Fighters Pass 2 DLC for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Developers Sora Limited are currently working from home, dealing with the hassle of conference calls and interruptions from their energetic children. It's all very relatable. It also means that new Smash fighters aren't coming anytime soon. Masahiro Sakurai, head of development on the DLC, has said as
it was stated that all DLC characters would be released by December of 2021. The first character is said to be revealed and released in June 2020. I think they're on track to release them all.
much. He's been unable to travel to collaborate with third-party studios, and he's even unable to visit Nintendo's headquarters to present his work.
So apparently, he can't email them? He can't network or do video calls? Because many other companies are doing that. Why can't he? Either he's that out of touch or it's just another cry for sympathy. Notice that Sakurai is the only developer who has all these episodes like being burnt out and not being able to travel to talk with other companies. Weren't all the DLC characters decided upon though? Pretty inexplicable if you ask me.
In spite of all this, the delay to new Smash Bros. Content might actually be a good thing, depending of course on your point of view. Masahiro has written several times in his weekly Famitsu column about how coronavirus social distancing has affected work on the game. Security was one of the biggest concerns when the team began to work from home. Everyone was paranoid about secrets leaking online if all game documents were being stored on the cloud.
So, private emails are less safe than company cloud servers? If Sakurai has his own private email that he's got for the purpose of exchanging messages privately, then how is this an issue? Yes, it's possible for people to hack clouds and gather information from them illegally, but that's why you set up a network off the grid, so that your work is stored on this entirely new cloud that is much more harder to trace. So, in that case, working from home is a lot safer. Nobody would look to find new information on Smash Bros. In one of millions of smaller private servers.
They have every right to worry about this, considering that Nintendo gets hacked fairly frequently. The beginning of April saw 160,000 Nintendo account details fall into the hands of hackers. This is your friendly reminder to change your password and set up two-step verification on your email account, just in case.
Yes, darling, a Nintendo account. Not a private account.
Similarly, new leaks such as a possible Pokemon Pink version are still emerging from a server hack that Nintendo endured in 2018. As time passed though, it became apparent that Masahiro's team really couldn't avoid working from home. Fears about security were superseded by another big challenge.
Pokemon Pink is just a concept. There are various projects behind closed doors that never make it past the planning phase. Why is this a shock to you? And why is this a concern when it's been a project that was nixed years ago? Yes, it's important for information like that to be kept private, but clearly they didn't take the initiative to keep that info private.
How to actually complete this work remotely. If the pandemic had come a few years ago, it wouldn't have been possible for the team to continue work.
This is a completely ignorant and narrow-minded statement. This statement absolutely buries indie devs who comprise of team members who work from their homes. A few years ago, I was still a content writer. If I was able to work remotely and if indie developers still have been able to work from home since the mid-2000s, then Sakurai would have been able to work on the game. What would hold him back from doing so? How is working with resources at home different from working with resources in an office setting? Again, let's make shit up to put Sakurai over. That's the goal with these videos, to kiss Sakurai's bony old behind.
Thankfully, since they're working on DLC, all of the structure of the game is already in place. The team has adjusted to conference calls, and Masahiro has bought a mic and a capture card so that he can demo Smash footage during online meetings. It's not ideal, but it works.
How is this news?
Because Masahiro really struggles at delegation, all decisions have to go through him, so sometimes there's a delay as he waits for reports from various team members, especially those who have young children. Masahiro is often up until midnight responding to messages and making decisions. In fairness, though, this isn't too dissimilar from what he was doing before. These challenges are unavoidable, but remote working does come with a lot of perks as well, and it's these that could have a positive impact on the finished Smash DLC. For one thing, nobody is commuting anymore. That's making a big difference for many members of the team, who were travelling to and from work for up to 4 hours a day when they were needed in the office.
I fail to see how that benefits the product or makes the product better. I mean, yeah, you're able to finish projects faster, but that doesn't exactly mean there will be more effort involved. Sakurai could claim his team would be able to make a whole new Kid Icarus game in under a year, but if it's bad, then it's bad. Eliminating commuting time doesn't affect the development of this content at all.
The team are also enjoying cleaner air, more temperate working conditions away from an office heating system, and, joy of joys, sunlight!
Now you're generalizing that any work setting cannot provide sunlight or fresh air. That's not true. Many offices are remodeling to feature larger windows so that natural sunlight can enter offices. Natural sunlight is better on workers, so it's possible for Sakurai and his team to either remodel or move to an office that can offer sunlight. It's not a guarantee that working from home guarantees fresh air or sunlight, it really depends on where their home office is set up. If Sakurai was working in his basement, then I'm sure he's not getting enough sun unless he stops working in order to get that sunlight, so I fail to see this point entirely.
Says Masahiro, there's an advantage to seeing natural light. The office had many windows, but we had to close them for secrecy. Being able to see the morning and evening light from the sun is very pleasing.
Wait, if Sakurai has to commute long hours to get downtown, it's very unlikely that he would need to close the windows for secrecy. I don't know about Japan, but in commercial buildings, the first floor is basically the lobby, whereas the second floor on up are offices for different businesses. Who would be risking getting caught by police and possibly their lives climbing buildings just to try to get a glimpse of Sakurai's office? This is just too ridiculous to believe.
While Masahiro is still working long hours, he's better at taking breaks at home. He's eating regular meals for once, which is nice.
Bingo. Bingo. I win.
He even feels the temptation to take naps, which is very unlike him, although he's resisting this.
Having to work remotely from home has nothing to do with the decisions he is making. If he wanted a meal in his office, he could do that. If he wanted to take a break if he needed to, he could do that. Just because he is working from home doesn't mean he never had those options before. Just ridiculous. Just shows Sakurai as a prima donna with first world problems.
All in all, it seems that lockdown is good for the team's health in more ways than one. They're spending more time with their families and enjoying a slightly slower pace amid all their delays.
Compare that to all the businesses such as restaurants, hair salons, and more that don't involve any remote work, that are closed completely and are struggling trying to feed their own families. Is the lockdown good for them that they're not working at all? But hey, let's feel sorry for Sakurai, am I right?
This is exactly what they need, especially Masahiro, who we've been saying for years needs to take a break.
No. How about eat mud instead? Sakurai does not deserve shit. The only reason why you're giving him sympathy is because he constantly whines for it. This is not normal for people to do. Whining about how they can't take a break when they know they can, and then airing drama publicly so you can treat him like he's some celebrity. He has a job to do, and if he doesn't want to do it then somebody else is free to take his place. I prefer it, actually.
In 2013, Masahiro admitted to having developed calcified tendinitis and ruptured arm muscles from literally playing too many games and working too hard.
Is this some kind of joke? Playing too many games? I have the perfect remedy. Stop playing games and get to work. What a novel concept.
This made game development difficult as he was forced to rest. In 2019, he similarly admitted that sometimes, to keep himself going when he's sick, he straps an IV drip to his arm and just powers through.
This is basically sucking up to the man? The writer of this video, yes, there are multiple people working on this channel, and the lady is just the voiceover, but the writer of this video isn't even trying to hide the fact he's kissing Sakurai's ass. If it ever got to point where Sakurai needed an IV drip in order to keep working, Nintendo would intervene and put him on the shelf. So either he made this story up or lied to Nintendo about his own well-being. Neither scenario is one where Sakurai looks good.
In March of this year, Masahiro was at the gym when he passed out from dehydration and exhaustion. He blamed this on a low-carb, high-protein diet. It's clear that this man needs to adopt a slower pace for a while.
Nah, he's just not cut out to lead a team.
And from the sounds of his staff's commute times, they need this too. It's difficult to do your best work when you're always in a rush. As much as Masahiro may relish what he does, it's important not to push yourself too hard.
Wait, wasn't this story supposed to be about the coronavirus? I wonder if Byleth will show up.
As video game fans, we can take the news of coronavirus delays in two ways. We can either moan about having to wait longer for more Smash fighters.
You can moan. Because nothing is getting delayed in terms of video game content as far as I know. Mortal Kombat 11 is still getting expansion DLC that's coming out very soon. Maybe do some research before jumping to conclusions about the state of video games. I'm excited for RoboCop. If Sakurai gave his thoughts about RoboCop, he would probably say how it's a waste of a character choice since there is no video game to promote. The real problem is Sakurai always thinking about other products but his own.
Or we can appreciate that the team at Sora Limited are doing their best, and that, by working a bit slower, they might just be able to deliver a higher level of polish.
So cutting out 4 hours of commute daily means development is slowing down? Gotcha.
And prevent otherwise inevitable burnout. That's the moral of this story. Sometimes, all of us, no matter who we are, just need to take a moment to breathe.
Wow, they really were out of ideas.